All right, so this is my overhead rig, as you can see. And the really nice thing about this is that it's PVC pipe, so I can take it apart and put it back together. And it's great for doing overhead shots, which is really important when you're doing DIYs and that sort of thing, because it gives a really nice steady shot, and it's easy to show what you're filming and to film it yourself. So I'm going to show you how I did this, and we're also going to talk about the Apple box principle and the Eddie Van Halen principle. And what do those two things have to do with each other? Well, quite a bit, actually. You're going to follow me on this one. Okay, so first I want you to take a look at that rig that I've got, and you can see I've actually have a bigger rig. I want to show you how to make the smaller rig today. And let's see, that's the shot I want. There we go. So I'm going to kind of show you in this overhead shot of everything that I'm talking about. Now I have this bigger rig that I use with my DSLR, and it works great. I'm going to give you the specs though for the smaller rig that I use for my iPad. And basically what I've designed it for is to work with my cutting mat right here. Just because I do a lot of sewing projects, and also if you do a lot of crafting and stuff, it's just kind of nice to have a mat to protect the table or surface you're working on. This is a smaller mat. It's 18 inches by 12 inches, but it's perfect for close-up work and things of that nature. And I am just going to get this set up. All right, so I have PVC pipe. It's 3/4 inch PVC pipe. And as you can see, what I do is I just lay this on here. And let's go to my camera so you can see what I'm talking about. My little boy has been playing with my iPad, and he had cotton candy the other day and then played with my iPad. It's just a bad combination. Okay, so as you can see here, it sits really there. It's really sturdy, and then I can just kind of center up the shot with how I want it to be. The PVC pipe, like I said, is 3/4 inch pipe, and there's multiple pipes involved. PVC pipe is super, super cheap. It's really, really easy to buy at your local Home Depot or Lowe's. And the other thing is that if you smile really nicely at the people in the PVC pipe department and they're not really busy, if you give them the specs, they'll cut it for you. Oh yes, I've done that. It was great. But the other thing you can do is it's really easy to cut yourself. I have this cutter here that I use, and it's just, you've got to release it. There we go. And you just kind of cinch it down and cut it. And you know what? It works great. It's super easy. And when you're doing something small like this, it's not that a lot of work. And this wasn't that expensive. And the PVC pipe is not that expensive at all. So a couple of other things for the rig is that I like to have this kind of surround lighting that you can kind of see in this shot here. It makes it so much easier, especially when it's steady lighting like this. What it is, it's these LED tape lights that you can just literally just tape on to the PVC pipe, and it works, and it's awesome. So the one thing is though, in some spots it's not sticking as well, so I've had to tie it with some string. Other than that, no complaints, it works great. The other thing is that you do need a power source to go with it, so you can't just buy the tape lights, you need to buy the adapter to plug it in, so just be aware of that. I have links to those things with this video. And you just tape it right to the PVC pipe, and it gives you this beautiful soft surround lighting. Be aware of the color temperature. I like things a little more on the warm side. I think the link I have for you is daylight temperature. So just be aware if you have other lights, what the temperature is, so you're not mixing your lighting temperatures. Okay, pay attention to that one. Okay, so I told you I was going to talk to you about the Eddie Van Halen argument and Apple boxes. So let's talk about that for a second as I switch this out. So when I say Eddie Van Halen argument and Apple boxes, I need to tell you what I'm talking about here. I think so many people, when they begin working in video, they think they have to have the exact equipment or the perfect thing, or they can't get started unless they have X, Y, and Z. And I call it the Eddie Van Halen argument. And I'm going to kind of date myself and show my great taste in movies here. In Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, yes, I'm quoting Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Bill and Ted get into this argument over how they're going to get Eddie Van Halen, and basically is like, how can we get decent instruments? We don't even know how to play, and you know, how are we going to get Eddie Van Halen if we don't know how to play, kind of thing. And so it becomes this cyclical argument, right? It's like, we can't learn unless we have decent instruments, and until we have decent instruments, we can't get Eddie Van Halen. Stop, okay? The point of that whole argument, and the reason why it's dumb and why it's not Bill and Ted are arguing it, is that you learn how to play on the crappy instrument, and then you get a good instrument, and then you can get Eddie Van Halen. So the Eddie Van Halen argument, I think a lot of bloggers get into, is they think like, I can't make videos or I can't do this until I have the right equipment. You know what? You just use what you got, you learn on that, and you move on. Now, what does this have to do with Apple boxes? Funny thing about Apple boxes. When they started out making movies, it was like the late 1800s when they barely started making movies, and into the early 1900s. And one common thing that they would use to prop up the camera or to steady stuff or even just around the set was something called an apple box, which was basically just a really sturdy crate that you could put apples in. Well, the thing is, over a century later, you go on any multi-million-dollar set, go up to the gaffer and ask him for an apple box, and he'll hand you one. They still use them today on big sets. So if a multi-million-dollar movie set is still using apple boxes, you can use PVC pipe to get where you need to go. If it's out of the frame, it doesn't count. It's called movie magic. So don't get hung up that I'm using PVC pipe. Yeah, it looks kind of ghetto. Yeah, it's not that pretty. You know what? It doesn't matter, because this doesn't matter. What matters is what's in the shot. All right, so I'm going to show you how to make this rig now. So like I said, 3/4 inch PVC pipe. You're also going to need some connectors. And, all right. So basically how this is designed is I have this space here so my hands can get in here really well. I have these 2 bars, and this is to basically set the iPad or iPhone on. Okay, right here. Up here on my bigger rig, I actually will put my camera and set it in between the 2 bars. Do that at your own risk. I do it all the time and it's fine, but just so you're aware. So the specs for this though. All right. You are going to need 2.5 inch lengths of pipe, and that's these small pieces right here. So this small piece and this small piece down here at the back. Okay, let's see if you can see that. Down here at the back. There we go, right there. That's 2.5 inches. That's just to get the spacing between these 2 bars. Okay. So you'll need 2.5 inches of pipe for these 2 spaces. All right, then you are going to need 4 12-inch lengths of pipe, and that's for the height. So these are 12, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 inches long, okay? And that's just for the height. And if you want, to be able to see more, you're just going to make that a little bit taller. Because, again, I wanted it to work for this mat. That's the height that I felt like worked for me, okay? All right. Now for the length for this way, how long are you? These are 14 inches. So 4 14-inch pieces of pipe, and that's for these crossbars here and for these down here for the length over here. So I can get it over there. Tight space, okay? Now, this direction, it's a little funky, so you got to kind of follow me on this one. I have a 10-inch and a 9.5 inch, and it's just a little bit off center. And the reason is because when you're working with this guy, the camera is not in the center, the camera's on the side. So it's just a little bit off, and I found that that works great for trying to center up the camera, okay? So you'll need 2 9.5 inch lengths. So you have a 9.5, 9.5, and then 10 inches, 10 inches. Okay, I'll review those again. Don't worry about it. And I'll also write up a nice post and have that posted on my website, DIY Video for Bloggers, so you can have it all written out for you, because I know sometimes just saying it verbally, you're like, I did not get any of that. I'm like that too. It's okay. All right, connectors. I have some connectors that I had extra connectors sitting around, so I just used those. If you're buying specifically for this, though, you're going to want a lot more elbow connectors than I have here. Like, for example, on one end here, if you can see that, it's a 3-way connector, and all I need is an elbow connector, but it was there and it was free, so I used it. All right, so for connectors, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elbow connectors, and that's just the elbow connectors. Make sure when you're going through and pulling stuff out that it's for 3/4 inch PVC pipe, the 3/4 inch connectors, and they're the ones that you just kind of pop in. They're not the ones that you screw in, okay? There are going to be these huge bins in the Home Depot place or home improvement store, whatever you want to call it, and you're just going to have to make sure, and they can get mixed up, so just double check them. Just trust me on that one. Yes, I have been mixed over, and that's why I'm warning you. All right, so 8 elbow connectors. Then they have these 3-way kind of T connectors. You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, okay? So 8 elbow, 4 3-way or T connectors. And then you just put it together. And the really cool part is that I will take it apart and just, if you're a blogger, you get a lot of bags with swag in it, and you can just use it in one of those swag bags. Just stick it in there. Last time when I demonstrated this when I spoke at Snap, I just tied up the lights to the pipe, and then I just took it down, and that worked really well too. You can just tie them. Actually, zip ties I think would be a good option for that one. You can also get Velcro ties and just cinch them down. That would work really well too. And that's all you need to get this really nice rig to hold stuff. Now, a couple things you need to be aware of with this rig. As nice as it is, there are some flaws. One is that the rig is actually connected to the surface that you're touching, so it can bounce. So if you like bang the table, the rig's going to bounce, your camera's going to bounce. Be aware of that, all right? Other than that, it's a really good rig because it fits on a tabletop, it's small, you can take it apart, and it's super cheap because PVC pipe, awesomely inexpensive, okay? So I would love to see how your rig turns out. Be sure to like email me a picture or post a picture on the Facebook page and just let me know how that goes for you. But that's it. So that's how you make the PVC pipe rig. My bigger rig, if I know someone's going to ask me about that, I don't have the specs on. Honestly, for me, it was a lot of play figuring it out to go with the lens that I had on my DSLR. I have a Canon 60D. Is what I use, and I have a really big L series lens on it. It's a 24 to 78 millimeter nice lens that I have on it, and this is the length that I liked for shooting on a much bigger mat for when I'm doing bigger sewing projects. But if I'm using my iPad, this is the rig that I use, and I purposely make this one so I can easily take it apart because obviously I don't want to have 2 rigs in the way here. So that is how you do it. So a couple things you remember. PVC pipe works great. I'm a professional and I use it. You can use it too. Don't fall for the Eddie Van Halen argument. It is moot, okay? And if multi-million-dollar movies use apple boxes still, you are not above using PVC pipe either. All right, so have a great day. You can do this. Go make something awesome, okay?